So you probably have thought, I'm going to start this new thing or start working out. My only time slot is the morning. So you wake up once early and you go for a couple days, couple weeks, and then you just find it all too easy to sleep in, right? Or even if you're not even using it for working out. I think a lot of people will find themselves in this trap where they're just would rather sleep in. Why? Why do we do that, huh? When you have the morning and everybody is, all the hustle and grind people are like, use the mornings, but you just can't seem to get yourself up. Let's fix that, okay? So if you can't tell, I work out in the morning, or I like waking up early. Life is subjective, but I haven't always been a morning person. I can remember back when I started football. I live in Florida, and the only two time slots for summer workouts were 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. I did the 2 p.m. exactly once to realize that I'm never going to do that again in the Florida heat. So it was 6 a.m. every day. That meant I had to wake up at 5 a.m. and eat really quick and rush out the door. When I got a little older and I got to college, my workouts were whenever. And sadly, it was right up until the gym closed, which meant some days was right up until midnight. I don't know why they were open that late, but I highly do not recommend that. Now we have a home gym. We set this up, probably before the pandemic hit. So we got it, and I was like, cool. I'm gonna work out whenever I want, right? Not necessarily. So responsibilities pile up. Some days I would think, well, let me work out during lunchtime. That's not always a guarantee. I work at home, but meetings may bleed into lunchtime. I also thought, well, let me try to work out before the kids came home, right before that. And you can just imagine the nightmare there, because it's only the time it took for my wife to go out and get our son was when I was trying to sneak a workout in. And, these they're not little 10-minute burners or something. So that was not happening. So the only other option I had to guarantee a bigger time slot, unless I were to stay up late, right? I do not recommend that, was to wake up in the morning. Like I said, high school, I was waking up early, but it also made it to where I was falling asleep early, okay? I didn't have as much going on, but because of the 5 a.m. wake up, there were nights where I would always, most of the time, go to bed in the 9 o'clock hour. There's some nights I was just so bored. I was just like, I'm just going to go to bed. 8:30, give me that sleep. And I could just make it happen. Probably because I was outside in the morning, sweating so much, and sleep made sleep so much easier. The problem, though, that people have, right, is that they just stay up too late. Unfortunately, a massive amount of entertainment, in the past, you'd stay up late, you'd probably be watching TV or playing a game that was not connected to the internet. Now, with both of those connected to the internet, it just makes it far too easy to just push the night away, right? You just kind of get lost in whatever you're doing, and you pick your head up and you're like, oh, I should probably go to bed now. And then it just makes it to where in the morning you're just kind of rushing around. The other thing is you need a reason to get up. I'm going to ask this of you, but for me, it's I love working out a lot. And it makes it to where if I were not to do it in the morning, it just wouldn't happen. And that is painful enough for me to get up here and do this, right? So what you need to do is that two-prong setup. You need to have a strong enough reason. And let's go through this. It's what do you want? Which is easy to say, but also to be a little harsh, what do you currently hate about yourself? And I know that seems kind of mean, but you got to think every positive goal, there's a negative side to it. The positive goal is not there yet, but the negative side is right in front of you, okay? It makes it easier and it makes your goal a little short term, because you're like, okay, well, I'm 100 pounds overweight. Let's just work on 5 instead of saying I want to be 5% body fat. Who knows how long that's going to take, or if it'll even happen. So have those two things in mind, realize oh, well, I have not been working out at all. If I have no other time, what am I going to do? And what will happen if I just do nothing about it, right? 3, 6 months, a year, multiple years will go by, and you had this time saw all along, whether your ego likes it or not. And with all those reasons, what you should do, which people have traditionally said, is to write it down. I don't do this all the time, but at the very least, you should have those reasons floating around in the back of your head. Okay. Writing it down brings it back up to the top of mind, but they should be in there. Okay. And kind of a last thing I thought of was you can reward yourself for working out. The mornings are a little different because you're not going to be like, oh, if I work out, I get to watch TV, right? Because you probably need to get up and go to work. But it kind of makes it to where the rest of your day is a reward. But if you want to reward yourself with something, only allow yourself that thing later in the day if you've worked out for the day. Okay. I know it's kind of like, I know there's this controversy, debate, Huberman that says like, well, if you didn't have the reward at all, then the thing itself becomes the reward and you have more motivation for that thing. Yes, but if you need the training wheels, I say, why not? To get you in that like kind of Atomic Habits, Charles Duhigg and James Clear reward loop, blah, 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 with habits. So use whatever you got to get yourself started. And then later you can cut the reward down if you want. Now the second thing, so that's the reward or the reason thing. The second thing now is to set your sleep up. And honestly, if you're having a hard time waking up, if you had nothing else going on, you would just get up and you would be excited to work out because nothing else would be as exciting. So you need to, one, set up the time that you should be waking up with enough time to do the rest of what you need to do, okay? I understand it's going to mean like, oh, I need workout clothes. Oh, I'm going to need to take a shower. Yeah, it's going to require thinking and sacrifice and planning. So have the time in mind. I highly recommend getting ready the night before. And it may seem simple, but like I always will get my workout clothes the night before because I don't want to be digging in the dark or thinking, right? You don't want to think, what do I want to wear today? Or what do I even want, like the food, like a protein shake. You don't want to be thinking that last second in the morning. You just want to give your morning brain a break and say, here's all this stuff laid out for you. So you don't have to think about it. The other thing, which is huge, is to just cut off electronics at night. And you know what I mean? Like social media, TV, video games. It's a little different if you're reading on a Kindle or on your phone or having to, I guess, work at the last second. But you know what holds you back. You need to cut that off. Okay. Anything that is not necessary, just save it for the next day, right? Save it for during the day, the next day, not leading up to bedtime. I've been experimenting with like cutting social media off at 7. That's very early for a lot of people, and I'm not going to lie, every single time that time comes up, my monkey mind is just like, no, I need to check up on everything. You don't, okay? Your health and life and sleep are much more important than whatever is going on the internet, okay? So shut off your little whatever at a decent amount of time. Bed means sleep only, okay? So if you have no phone going on, it should be easy for you. And then you actually go to sleep. If you set this up and you're not used to going to bed early, which you will when you start waking up early, but don't stress about falling asleep. You can't really control that. You can influence yourself to sleep. Like, read a book. Fiction is wonderful for forgetting about the day. And just make sure you're going to bed at a decent time because eventually your body will accept the sleep time. But you can control the wake up time, right? Control the wake up time, the alarm, but just influence yourself to sleep. Don't stress out and think, oh, I need to go to bed at 9, but you're laying in bed for like an hour. So don't stress about that. Just go to bed, go to sleep when you're actually sleeping. And the last thing is to actually get up, okay? You should have this intermittent fasting of your phone. Don't use it leading up to bed or in bed. And don't touch it in the morning. Like, even if it's an alarm clock, you should not be like, oh, let me lie down and scroll and see what's going on. Come on. You getting up and doing what you want to do is much more important. All that stuff can wait. Okay. So I will be real with you. If you made it this far, you're in a different season of life. I used to be the guy. I still love working out, but I used to be like, let's go to the gym, buddy, or with my friends, and we could be there for like 3 hours, right? You're not going to have that time anymore, and unless, if you have kids until they're what, in, I don't know, second, third, fourth grade, and they're old enough to just, first of all, probably sleeping in, but second of all, leave you alone if they do come and talk to you in the gym. If you're not there yet, I hate to break it to you, but you don't have the time that you used to. So your best bet is to use time that is there better. Stop indulging at night and wake up with the rest of us and be more intentional in your day. Okay? Use the mornings. If you have any questions, let me know. Or if you have any comments, let me know. I understand that you will not be as strong in the morning as you would be at 2 in the afternoon. But who is working out at 2 in the afternoon unless you don't have a job? That's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Question, comments. Bye-bye.